Media station. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Howie Roseman strikes again. The Phillies are in the World Series, and Howie says, I'm going to take the headline back from everybody and bring the focus right back to the birds. Josh Hennig here on Game Night 97.3 ESPN FM, your home for Eagles football in South Jersey, and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle, where you can also hear all the Phillies World Series games on our app online. And if you have the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, you would have gotten the alert today that the Eagles made another trade. You know, when we prepare, people like me and Mike Gill for a show, we generically have an idea of like things we want to talk about. We set aside, topics and ideas and stuff. And then when a trade like this happens, it's like, all right, we're going to go for the magic carpet ride. And boy, did Howie Roseman give all of Eagle fandom a new magic carpet ride, because they didn't just make a trade. Lots of teams make trades. The Eagles went out and said, you know what? We're going hard. Eagles acquire defensive end Robert Quinn from the Chicago Bears for a 4th round pick. According to Mike Garafolo of NFL Network, the Bears are going to absorb and pay for a huge portion of Quinn's still owed contract. Now, the reason why that's significant is because, one, according to reports, Quinn has a prorated salary of $12.8 million for the rest of the year, and the Eagles don't have that much cap space available for a deal like this. So that's one reason why that's important. The other reason why it's important is because even though Quinn has no more guaranteed years on his contract, the Eagles will not be taking on the responsibility of the guaranteed signing bonus. Because remember, a lot of times NFL contracts, they are not guaranteed money up front always. Sometimes that guaranteed money is built into a contract over a period of time. So even though there's no guaranteed money after this year, there is still money that goes on to the salary cap after this year. And it looks like, according to reports, the Bears will absorb that. So the Eagles got a player. They bought low for high potential. This guy had 18.5 sacks last year. But the Bears have a new defense this year. He's not putting up the stats he did last year. He's a great locker room guy. For those who didn't see the video, Bears linebacker Roquan Smith got very emotional when he found out that his friend Robert Quinn had been traded. So it kind of gives you an idea of the kind of value as a human being Robert Quinn has as well. He's not just a guy who has over 100 sacks in his career. He's not just a guy who is one of the best athletes as a pass rusher in the NFL. He's also a guy that guys connect with in the locker room. So this is a win-win on numerous levels for the Eagles. And this is another example of what I've told you guys in the past here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, where you can DM the show through the app and you can text in at 609-403-0973 with your thoughts on the Eagles acquiring Robert Quinn today. It literally came down minutes before football at 4 on the Sports Bash to the news. You're talking about a situation where the league is going through another metamorphosis, because for many years, the hyper-emphasis, easy for me to say, the hyper-emphasis was on quarterback, offense, scoring points. Now the pendulum is swinging the other way. We are seeing across the league lower scores, lower points per game, lower scoring numbers, and it's because the defenses are finally finding vulnerabilities in these offenses. It's like what happened in college was the same thing. For those who are like me, who love college football, you remember that when the air raid first came to Kentucky with Tim Couch, and then later migrated to Texas Tech with Mike Leach, over time, people started figuring out, okay, they're doing this so I can take advantage of this. Okay, they're running a go route. I'm going to drop more guys in coverage. They don't have a good offensive line. I'm going to put my best athletes on the D line and go after the quarterback. They found ways to limit the air raid. And now Mike Leach, who is one of the gurus of offense in college, has had to evolve into a well-rounded coach who had one of the better defenses in college football the last couple of years than Mississippi State. So he can't score as many points anymore, but he's taken that offensive mental acumen to now the defensive side of the ball. And what's happening in the NFL is that for years, we were being told the quarterback, the offense. Now the pendulum is swinging the other way. And now it's, if you don't have a good defense, you don't have a shot. Look around the NFL right now. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are both 3-4. You know why? Because their defense and their teams are either injured or not good. Green Bay has a mediocre roster at best, and their offensive line is injured. Tom Brady's got injuries all over Tampa Bay's roster, and the backups who are coming in for those injured guys are just not good enough. And so the trade for Robert Quinn is another sign to me. As I told you guys before, you can't name a team that won a Super Bowl with a bad or poor or below average or even average defense. Because in football, you need all three facets of the game to win. You need the offense, you need the defense, and you need your kicker and punter to be good, or at least competent. There's a reason why the Colts had problems with Mike Vanderjagt as their kicker, because he was inconsistent. They had to replace him with Adam Vinatieri. Mike Vanderjagt was a guy who in Indianapolis was a huge part of their success for many years. Well, guess what happened? The year after Vanderjagt is gone, the Colts win the whole thing. Yeah, that's right. Mike Vanderjagt's last year was 2005. 2006 season, the Colts win the Super Bowl. On one hand, you got to feel bad for the guy, but on the other hand, you realize how important it is to be a good football team in every aspect of the game. So Howie Roseman acquiring Robert Quinn is a dual admission. It's we know that we're going to need our defense later this year. We want to go after quarterbacks. We want to slow down offenses. And we feel like if we have Robert Quinn, we don't have to be as hyper dependent on Brandon Graham, who just came off an injury, came back this year. We're not as hyper dependent on Josh Sweat or Teron Jackson to come in if there's an injury. We're not hoping that Hargrave and Cox get all the pressure. We're not asking Jordan Davis to be a pass rusher. We're literally telling Quinn, to be like Chris Long was years ago, and just, this is your role, this is your job. You are going to be a stud on the outside, and you and Reddick and Sweat and these guys, you're going to go get the quarterback because we got the secondary to hold up. And in a league where Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady have poor offensive lines, Matthew Stafford, his team won the championship. They won the Super Bowl last year. They're struggling. Why? Because of their offensive line. You look around the league and you realize that the one area the Eagles have advantage of, and by the way, so do the Cowboys with their pass rushers. If you got pass rushers, you have a massive advantage because there's only a handful of teams that have good offensive lines in this league. And when you go against some of these quarterbacks and when you go against some of these offenses, unless it is a wizard like Patrick Mahomes on the other side of the field, and there's not many of those guys, you can win those games. And we've spent so much time talking about is Jalen Hurts the guy that we forgot that the most important play when the Eagles won against the Patriots in the Super Bowl was the strip sack by Brandon Graham. The Eagles didn't win the game on offense. They won the game and finished it on defense. Text board is open, 609-403-0973. You also can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See y'all coming up in about 7 minutes from now. To Weinberg Wednesday. Dave Weinberg joins the show each week. Talk Eagles and Phillies with him coming up on 973 ESPN. Game Night being brought to you by my friends over at the FanDuel Sportsbook inside Bally's off the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Bet, watch, and win all month long and next month as well. Phillies are in the World Series. Eagles are 6-0. So they're going to be 7-0 after this week. Basketball season's underway. Hockey season is here. College football Saturdays. Get in on all the action with 10 betting kiosks, 5 betting windows, 13 big screen TVs, and plenty of comfortable seating inside the FanDuel Sportsbook off the boardwalk at Bally's in Atlantic City. Get in on all the action this season. FanDuel wants every bettor's experience to be enjoyable and fun. Visit FanDuel.com/playwell. Learn more. Must be 21 or older to play and present in New Jersey. To bet online. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Jeff in Ocean City chimes in and says, Josh, this season has been like a funeral for the once great quarterbacks. Brady, Rodgers, Matt Ryan, Stafford, and Russell Wilson. They're all turning to dust. That's from Jeff in Ocean City. Well, Jeff, the problem is that those quarterbacks are going through what they're going through in part because the teams around them and the coaches around them are not doing their jobs. We assumed for so long, and I'll overtly say it, we're lied to by people in the quote-unquote sports mainstream media. We were lied to and manipulated to believe and think that, well, all you need is the quarterback and that solves everything. And it's one of the greatest lies in sports because if the offensive line stinks and the receivers can't catch, Tom Brady threw a dime last week and Mike Evans dropped it. Mike Evans, that guy's probably going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame one day, and he dropped the ball. These quarterbacks need their players to help them do the job. So Brady is now exposed. Rodgers looks and sounds bad. Matt Ryan got benched and he's top 5 in the NFL in passing yards. Russell Wilson, he's got a shoulder issue, a hamstring issue. He's unrelatable. And they're all being exposed. And by the way, Matthew Stafford's offensive line is trash. They're all being exposed because the talent in front of them and the talent around them is not doing their job. And you're starting to realize that it doesn't matter how talented or great your quarterback is. If he's surrounded by inferior players, then he can no longer be the best version of himself. We'll talk more Eagles and Phillies coming up with 973ESPN.com sports columnist with extra point columns. Dave Weinberg here on Game Night. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 973 ESPN FM and 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2022 season this Sunday at the Link, hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers.
He lets it fly. It's intercepted by Slay. second pick of the game.
Pre-game coverage starts at noon with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 1 p.m. This is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagles station.
Son, get in the car.
No, Dad, not your car. It smells horrid and it looks awful. I'm scared, Dad. I'm really scared.
Is your old car really scary? Matt Platt Mitsubishi wants your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Push, pull, even drag it in to Matt Platt Mitsubishi and get more for your trade when you purchase any select new 2022 Mitsubishi SUV, plus every new Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross or Outlander SUV. Put zero down and pay only 2.9% financing. Worried that your credit will make car buying scary? Matt Platt Mitsubishi knows bad things happen to good people. We finance your future, not your past, even if your credit is less than perfect. Simply Matt Platt Mitsubishi. Approved with Tier 1 credit. Rebates and incentives to dealer. Go to mattplattmitsubishi.com for complete details. Plus tax, license, registration fees. Offers can't be combined. Expires 11/5/22. So come in today and get your deal your way. Located right in the heart of Glassboro for over 30 years.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
Spilled your milkshake? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading Ordinary brand. So you can get back to your milkshake.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
At my age, I never dreamed I'd be dealing with opioid addiction.
I was pregnant and I couldn't stop.
Getting sidelined by an injury was bad, but the cravings were way worse.
Then I heard about 844-REACH-NJ.
They connected me to treatment and I had a healthy baby.
844-REACH-NJ was the call that made the difference.
Thank goodness I made the call.
So glad I made the call for both of us.
REACH-NJ.
If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, call 844-REACH-NJ from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
O'Reilly! Cleaning your fuel system can help your engine run better and improve gas mileage. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts and pick up a bottle of Chevron Techron Fuel System Cleaner on sale now. Buy one, get one free, plus double O Rewards points. Get more fuel-saving tips from the professional parts people at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but what about the nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons. Sinusitis, colds, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Over 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less, but the biggest payoff is improved health. Navage is good personal hygiene and can help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Hi, I'm Dan Tracy. I'm a workers' compensation attorney. At Goldenberg Mackler, we've handled thousands of workers' compensation claims over the years. Our experienced attorneys understand the law and will fight to get you the benefits that you deserve. When injured at work, make the right call to Goldenberg Mackler. Call us at 609-344-7131. That's 609-344-7131. Or visit us online at gmslaw.com.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Well, check out more of your guys' thoughts and comments. Text board is open as always, 609-403-0967. 0973. You can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Phillies are in the World Series, Game 1 this Friday night. You hear the coverage right here on 973 ESPN starting at 7 p.m. Howie Roseman trying to steal back the headlines today with his trade for Robert Quinn. So to get into all that and more, he is back. We haven't talked to him on the radio a couple of weeks because of these Phillies games being in the middle of the day. Dave Weinberg is back here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN for another edition of Weinberg Wednesday. Dave, it's good to talk to you again. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Josh. How are you? I was just checking my email. No Phillies tickets yet.
What is more surprising at this point in time? Is it the Phillies in the World Series, or is it the Eagles being 6-0?
Phillies in the World Series. I mean, they got into the playoffs as the last wild card team, but they've been nothing short of tremendous, in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, and 3 rounds. So, yeah, the Eagles they're surprising me a little bit. I mean, I picked them to lose their first 3 games, so you know that I'm shocked. But by far, I think that the Phillies are the bigger story at this point.
When you think about this Phillies team being in the World Series, is there a favorite storyline, players accomplishment? Because everybody's like, oh, Harper this, Harper that, but who not named Bryce Harper has impressed Dave Weinberg?
Oh boy, that's the cool thing about this team is that there's so many guys that have stepped up with key hits or key pitching performances in the clutch. I mean, Reese Hopkins with his bat slam, that was really a cool moment. I mean, I argue that might be a bigger. Harper's blast, of course, was the more significant, but that was the Hoskins home run is the one that still really sticks out to me. But yeah, I mean, Kyle Schwarber, Rosen Stott, JT Realmuto. I mean, it's almost like the whole team has found a way to contribute when they've been needed the most, and that's what made this postseason so magical for them.
People are suggesting that Bryce Harper is now the new face of baseball now that he got the Phillies to the World Series. Dave, I know you've been a very big believer in everything of Mike Trout, but
yes,
Mike Trout's on the Angels. They can't even get to the playoffs half time, and Bryce Harper just got to the World Series. So what is your perspective on that whole paradigm?
So how many times has Harper been in the playoffs?
How many times overall? I'd have to double check exactly.
I'm going to say 1, maybe.
I'm gonna say maybe 3. Let me double check.
Really? Okay.
Well, remember the Nats weren't bad every year, so
yeah, true. But I mean, it seemed like got really good after he left. I don't know. Anyway, I mean, nothing against Bryce. He's had a fantastic postseason, and yeah, he's definitely the hottest thing in baseball right now. I mean, everybody loves him, and deservedly so for what he's accomplished. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I'll always be in Mike Trout's corner. I think he's the best player in the game. He just hasn't had the opportunity through no fault of his own. Well, I guess you could fault some of it with the injuries and stuff that he's gone through, but I still think that he's the best player in the game. Although Harper is the most popular player in the game at the moment, I would say.
Now, if I'm going by Baseball Reference correctly, Bryce Harper went to the postseason 4 times with the Nationals.
Oh, okay. Well, then I've been mistaken. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I mean,
it's probably not memorable because they almost never got out of the first round. Is the problem?
Needed a Trout, right? When his only appearance, they got swept, I think, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's both guys have had their share of troubles, I guess, in the postseason. So I'm rooting for Bryce and I'm rooting for the Phillies. I don't think they're going to win it, but I mean, anything is possible at this point, considering what they've already accomplished.
Oh, absolutely. And you're throwing Nola and Wheeler out there game 1 and 2. So, you have to think, Dave, hey, if you're going to steal one in Houston, it's going to be with one of those guys. It's the only shot you got because let's be realistic. No offense to Ranger Suarez, Noah Syndergaard, Kyle Gibson, Bailey Falter, but I don't see any Philly fans wearing their jerseys.
No, not too many. You might see a few Mets fans with Syndergaard jerseys. That's about it. Yeah. And you and I have talked about this ad nauseum. I just don't get this bullpen game stuff. I don't understand why a major league team can't have 4 or 5 quality starters. You have a 4-man rotation or a 5-man rotation. After Nola and Wheeler, you go to the next guy, then you go to the next guy, then you come back with Nola. I mean, I don't understand this bullpen stuff. That baffles me.
Well, I think the problem is that this is where the common sense and the analytics people have like a crossing of the minds, because it's this whole thing, Dave, where it's like, well, our numbers say this, but then the eye test says, like, for example, there have been times I've watched games. The guy has 60, 70 pitches, and I can tell, and I'm not some expert. He's running out of bullets. He's running out of, and there's times I see a guy with 100 pitches and I'm like, he's fine. Just let him keep going.
Yep. I would love, like, I know I'm dating myself and I sound like an old man, but I would have loved for one of these managers to try to come out and tell Bob Gibson that he's got to come out of the game because he's thrown 80 pitches. He would have told him to go pound sand, to be polite. I mean, it's just a different game, I guess, than the one that I grew up watching as far as the analytics and strategies and things. And I'm trying to accept it, but it's been tough for me.
I will say this, and this is where I will also sound like a get off my lawn a little bit.
Yeah.
Can we stop with so-and-so now has X number of, like, Alex Bregman is second all time among third basemen in home runs. And it's like, yeah, you know why? Because he played more games than Mike Schmidt did in the postseason. That's why. Like, Bryce Harper now has the most hits in a single postseason in Phillies history. Well, there's
because
4
there was
rounds
no wild
now.
card round back then, right?
Like, the wild card's been around since 95. Like, come on. Like, these stats, like, I love sports. You know me, Dave. I enjoy the stat, but some of these numbers, they have zero context at all.
Yeah. The one that really gets me, and I know some people really are into it, is the it's two, the exit velocity and the distance that a home run travels. What does it matter if it traveled 326 feet or 526 feet? Does it count for more? I don't think so. I think a home run counts for the same. And I don't care how fast it got out of the park, as long as it gets out of the park. It doesn't matter to me. And I don't know why it would matter to anybody.
I agree with exit velocity, because I think exit velocity, I mean, a guy can hit the ball 100 miles an hour off the bat and be caught at second base. Who cares?
True.
The only reason why I understand the fascination with the distance of it is because I think that the majority of us who have attempted to play baseball in life know how hard it is to hit a baseball. So when you see a guy like Kyle Schwarber hit it 488 feet, there's a part of you that just is like in awe of it. Like, a dude didn't just hit a baseball. He hit it further than like people's property distance.
Yeah. I can get that. I can understand that part of it. Yeah. Oh, by the way, whatever happened to the woman who caught the Harper's home run? Does she still have the ball?
The last thing I heard was they're working with the Phillies on it. I didn't read the full story, but I saw it on one of our station websites that apparently the lady and her family, they're like working with the Phillies on the whole thing. So
what would you do if you caught the ball?
That's a horror. I'm the worst person to ask that because I don't look at sports like a fan very well.
Yeah, same.
The problem for me, Dave, is like, I've never caught a home run ball. I've been to plenty of baseball games. I've never had the chance to catch one.
Me either.
So honestly, I have no idea what I would do if I caught like a historic ball, like the guy who caught the Aaron Judge ball, for example. Like, his whole thing was like, I want a night to think about it. Like that whole thing, people were criticizing him, like, oh, you got to strike with the iron's hot, and I'm like, I can't criticize the guy because I have no idea what I would do in the situation.
Yeah, same. I'm the same way. I mean, I would definitely give the ball back to Bryce, but I would hope that there would be some sort of compensation, whether it's monetarily or season tickets or something like that. But yeah,
you know what I probably ask for? I would ask for free parking for life.
Yeah, that's a good deal. Yeah,
because the parking is so outrageous
Yeah,
for these sporting
that's a good
events,
one. That's
I
a
would
good
just
one.
be like, I want to pass for free parking for life at Citizens Bank Park. So whether I'm going to a Phillies game or a concert, I just don't want to have to pay $45-$55 to park.
That's a really good point. Yeah, it is out of this world anymore. Yeah, there's no more $5, $10 lots. That's for sure.
No, there's not even $10 lots in Wildwood halftime anymore.
Yeah, that's true too. Yep.
Dave Weinberg joining us for a Weinberg Wednesday here on Game Night 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Dave's Extra Point columns are over at 97.3 ESPN.com. Dave, let's get to the Eagles. Robert Quinn's a great move, but how much of this is Howie's now made 3 moves that feel like they just came out of nowhere? Like, nobody was sitting there being like, oh, yeah, they're going to get A.J. Brown, or, oh, yeah, C.J. Gardner-Johnson is going to play safety. It's like, this is 3 moves now in 7 months that you're just like, all right, Howie, I see you're keeping things close to the vest.
Yeah, I mean, this one not so much though. I mean, he's known for making deals near the trade deadline, and so this isn't like hugely surprising. The AJ Brown and the Gardner Johnson one, yes, but this one, he's, like I said, he has this reputation for trying to strengthen the team as much as possible as before the trade deadline, and this does that. I mean, especially with Derek Barnett gone for the year. Quinn bolsters that pass rush. They still have a pretty decent one with Graham and Sweat and Hassan Reddick, but Quinn gives them that extra element, that extra fastball, if you will, that you can throw at the offense and via the pass rush. And I think it's a good move.
By the way, 3 minutes ago, the Eagles just announced they have waived and released Teron Jackson to make room for Robert Quinn on the roster. So the former Eagles draft pick will probably pass through waivers and land on the practice squad.
Yeah, yep, that's the way it usually goes. Yep.
I mean, well, before the trade day, the big Eagles news of the week was Greg Ward's on the practice squad and Lane Johnson's in concussion protocol. And it's almost like Howie was like, the Phillies are not allowed to be in the World Series without giving attention back to the Eagles. I got to get the headlines back. Like, I'm not saying that's Howie's motivation, but like, doesn't it feel like sometimes that Howie like conveniently finds like these key points in time to like steal back the fans' interest?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it does that, but yeah, it's they do seem to have that reputation for not competing against one another, but almost trying to one up each other. Yeah, they want to make sure that their fan bases are tuned in and not, trading away, especially during the bye week. The interest seems to go down a little bit. So, this definitely helps, keep the fans in, keep the Eagles fans back into it. That's for sure.
By the way, for those who are wondering a little more information, the Bears are picking up 7.1 of the $12.8 million remaining on Robert Quinn's salary, according to Albert Breer of MMQB. The Eagles will be paying him, according to reports, a little more than $700,000 for the rest of the year.
Wow, you can't beat that. I don't know why the Bears would do that, but more power to them. Yeah, that's a great move for the Eagles.
Well, you know what it is, Dave? I said it earlier with Mike Gill on the Sports Bash. Howie Roseman is trying to be Kevin Costner from draft day. He called the inexperienced GM on the phone and made him an offer he can't refuse with the promise to watch his back later on. So I guarantee Ryan Poles, being a first-time GM, the guy's never been a GM in the league before, Howie probably whispered some nice nothings in his ear and was able to manipulate him. Because I guarantee you who's not making this deal? Les Snead of the Rams, right? You know who's not making this deal? Joe Douglas of the Jets. Dudes who have been around the league for a while are not making this deal. But Ryan Poles in Chicago, he's green around the gills, Dave.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, he probably took advantage of him a little bit. Yeah, and you're right. And to credit Howie for kind of looking down the list and seeing which GMs are with which teams and which guys he knows would be willing to play ball and which ones would not, and which ones he could fleece, so to speak, and which ones he can't. So yeah, he found a willing partner with the Bears, and more power to him. That's what good GMs do, I guess.
I mean, I'm not saying Ryan Poles is sweating as much as the Jags GM in draft day was, but I'm just saying the inexperience is there.
Yep,
I'm sure anyone who's watched draft day remembers that scene where Kevin Costner calls the Jags GM and he's like, running his hands through his hair, wiping the sweat off his brow. The guy's like freaking out that he's on the board. You know,
Yep.
I know the movie's hokey, but I love it. I don't care what anybody thinks.
Sure.
But let's get back to the field, Dave. So Robert Quinn being with the Eagles now, does this make the defense what, like significantly better, championship caliber? Like, how are you grading them? Because statistically, they were already a top 10 defense in many categories.
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily makes them better, just makes it deeper. Quinn hasn't had the best year to this point. I think he only has 1 sack maybe. And by last year, I mean, he was gangbuster. So if he can contribute half of what he did last year, I think that's good for the Eagles. I don't know if it necessarily upgrades them significantly, but it does help their depth. I mean, the more pass rushers you have, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, to me, I think that this is, I said this earlier, Dave, and you tell me what you think. I think this is another example of football and the pendulum effect. You covered the Eagles for over 25 years. You've seen a lot of football, Dave. You know how it works. The league goes back and forth like a pendulum at times. And I think that this year is an example of how things are swinging back. All the good teams in the league right now all have good defenses. And I think the Eagles realize that, hey, if we got as many, as you call it, fastball guys as possible, we can take advantage of the fact that literally, I don't know if there's more than 5 teams with good offensive lines. And I think that if you get a team like the Rams or the Bucks or the Packers or any of those kind of teams in the postseason, I think the Eagles' defensive line is going to whip them.
Yeah, you're right there. I mean, it does seem, I mean, still an offensive league, but yeah, defense is certainly catching up. And yeah, there's more emphasis on that now. And you're right. I mean, offensive line is a big problem throughout the league. There's, maybe a half dozen good offensive lines, some mediocre ones and some really bad ones. And if they're lucky enough to catch one of those guys on the right day, yeah, you're definitely right. The Eagles defense is capable of dominating that.
Do you think it's a coincidence or not, Dave? Like, do you like grade this for me? Because, Brady and Rodgers are both 3-4. They're both on teams with bad O-lines, on teams with injuries, and both of them are struggling. Is that just a coincidence, or is that just, a matter of the fact that they're just not on good teams?
That's a tough one. They're not on very good teams. But there seems like there's outside issues in play here too. Brady with his personal relationships and just seems to be a distraction to him at this point. Rodgers went through a pretty strange off season, so I'm not sure. And it seems like they've kind of taken away all of his supporting cast, so it's kind of tough for him. But I would go 50-50 on it. Really, I think it's half them and it's half the team too.
Because I'm not going to sit here and act like, Brady and Rodgers stink. Like, I'm not going to be that guy on Twitter who's like, see, he sucks. I'm not going to be that guy.
Yeah,
but
that's ridiculous.
Listen, I saw Brady throw a perfect pass to Mike Evans this Sunday, and Mike Evans dropped it.
Correct.
I literally saw Rodgers go back on a 3-step drop, launch a perfect pass to Watson, not once but twice this year, and the rookie, drops it. Like, at some point, it's like, I don't know how much of their team's struggles is not being talked about. The fact that basically both guys are playing behind bad offensive lines with a ton of injuries. I mean, when is Bakhtiari ever going to play again? I feel like that guy's injured like every other week.
Yeah. They're really struggling with their depth and their offensive line, especially the offensive line. You're right. Those guys are still Hall of Famers and they're still excellent quarterbacks. You put the right supporting cast around them. They're going to be there at the end. I still think that Tampa Bay will be able to turn around a little bit this year because the NFC South is so bad that even if they go 500, they're still going to win that division. And if they get in the playoffs that way, they're going to make some noise. Packers, I'm not quite sure about, but I definitely think the Bucs will be there in the end.
Dave, before I let you go, I want to ask you, so as of October 26th, you can change your mind. Okay. I reserve you the right to come on here next week or the week after to change your mind at any point in time.
Okay.
Will the Eagles go undefeated?
No. No.
I mean, I have to listen to Trey Thomas on certain shows say every week that he thinks they're going undefeated, but
Well, their schedule was pretty soft, but no. Giants will beat them once. I know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think the Giants are legit?
Yes, I do. Yep, I have for a long time. Yeah. I mean, I know they're not that impressive, but they found a way to win every week, and I think Daniel Jones is much better than what people give him credit for. And Barkley being healthy adds that extra element to that offense. Their defense is very good. Yeah, I definitely think they're contenders.
I've told Giants fans I've run into out and about in recent weeks, Dave. I keep telling them, look, your team is 6-1 because for the first time in a long time, you don't have a clown as a head coach. To me,
That's
it's
true.
that simple. Like
very true.
They had McAdoo and Judge saying just the weirdest stuff every week at the podium, like trying to win headlines on the back page of the New York papers. And Daboll just has gone in there, him and Joe Schoen, the GM, and just changed the whole culture. Like this is the first time I think the Giants have had a legitimate organization since Tom Coughlin was the head coach.
Yeah, you're right there. There's definitely the culture is definitely different there. They seem to really believe in the coach and believe in themselves, and that's really important when you're trying to make a run here.
Yeah, Brian Daboll's a graduate of the Nick Saban School of Coaches. People forget about that.
There you go. Yep.
Everybody goes to Nick Saban, works for him, and gets a coaching job. You got Sarkisian over at Texas, Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. Bill O'Brien's there now. I guarantee you he's going to be a head coach somewhere next year.
There you go, the Nick Saban coaching tree. Huh?
I call it. Someone else called it this. I forget who it was, but they said, Nick Saban, where destroyed coaches go to rehabilitate.
That's a good one.
Dave Weinberg at Dave Weinberg 19 on Twitter. Extra Point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. And congratulations on the air on your new article with Shore Local, right?
Oh, thanks, Josh. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, they had an opening, asked me to do it, and I'm more than happy to fill the void there. I'm looking forward to it. But I'll always be loyal to you guys too.
Well, I always appreciate you coming on each week, having a conversation, and we'll talk more soon.
Sounds good, Josh. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Josh Hennig here on GameNight 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. We'll check you on the text board on the other side, 609-403-0973, DMs and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Sixers basketball tonight, Phillies baseball Friday and Saturday, Eagles football on Sunday. We are your home for all things Eagles, Sixers, Flyers. We got your Phillies coverage. We got your college football on Saturday, NFL Sunday, Thursday, Monday football right here. 97.3 ESPN FM.
Red October continues on 97.3 ESPN.
Swing and a high fly ball. Left field. That one is back. Gone!
Listen to the Phillies and Houston Astros in the World Series on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. It's Phillies Astros. Game 1, Friday night. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. South Jersey's home for the 2022 World Series.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's Incredible Crab Specials Wednesdays this fall. 2 pounds of snow crab legs for $49.99 or 2 pounds of snow crab legs and 4 hard shells for $79.99. Thursdays is Chicky and Pete's Go Birds Wing Special. Whatever the Eagles score on Sunday, you get that percentage off your wings on Thursday. Higher score, bigger discount. Plus, our fall specialty menu with the mouth-watering garlic truffle burger and B-Dog Impact Nachos. Enjoy a pumpkin shanty or a smoked apple cider margarita. Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. And we know Saturdays in the fall are special. Why? College football. And we have you covered with food and drink specials and the best in-game experience to watch your team or the college football game of the week. Come watch Penn State, Temple, Villanova, Notre Dame, Texas, Michigan, Georgia, and more. College football Saturdays are special at Chickies and Pete's.
Is chronic heartburn making you hear this in your sleep and after you wake up and after every meal? Well, every time you hear it, it should remind you to talk to Atlanticare because we can find the underlying issue that's causing your heartburn and create a personalized plan to treat it so you don't have to keep doing this. Shake chronic heartburn for good. Visit atlanticare.org/heartburn.
Businesses don't run on automation or algorithms alone. What powers businesses are your people and the people they serve. At Cintas, your dedicated service reps understand what you need to help you keep your employees feeling safe, comfortable, and performing their best. So your business can too. For workwear, essential cleaning products, first aid and safety supplies, and fire protection services, visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Ooh, Halloween, the season for goblins, witches, and scary good fun. But Walgreens knows it's also the doorbell never stops season, and we can't run out of candy season. So let Walgreens fill your Halloween bowl fast with pickup in as little as 30 minutes and delivery in as little as 1 hour. Because if it's needed in a poof season, it's Walgreens season.
This week, buy one, get one free snack and fun-sized candy bags. Of equal or lesser price. Offer valid through 10/29 while supplies last. Restrictions apply. See Walgreens.com for details.
It's the time of year for killer deals. You've had your eye on some hot new wheels. We want to pay off your loan or lease and tell your old car to rust in peace.
If your current vehicle is your worst nightmare, get to Matt Blatt Nissan today. AJ the Trade Man will give you more for your trade. We have a huge selection of new Nissans on the lot or en route, ready for delivery. Have a job clearing $350 per week? Matt Blatt Nissan wants to approve you today with 0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 1.9% financing. Drive away with peace of mind with Matt Blatt Nissan's 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Reserve your Nissan today from our huge selection. Negative equity will be refinanced as a new vehicle. Interest accrues from date of sale. Not all will qualify. Offers can't be combined. Call 877-289-6670 or go to mattblattnissan.com for complete details. Offer ends 11/6/22. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but what about the nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons. Sinusitis, colds, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Over 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less, but the biggest payoff is improved health. Navage is good personal hygiene and can help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Redemption Whiskey's bringing back bold, spicy, and rye-forward whiskey. The kind of whiskey that was America's #1 spirit before Prohibition. By the time it was repealed, Prohibition had erased rye-forward whiskey from existence, but a good thing can't be held down forever. Redemption's rye whiskey gives us the classics that were nearly lost for 100 years. Have a cocktail the way it was meant to be enjoyed. Made with bold, spicy, rye-forward whiskey. Redemption. This is the Rye Revival. Redemption is a registered trademark of Deutsche Family Wine and Spirits. Stanford, Connecticut. Please enjoy responsibly.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
We're looking for one spooky spokesperson to promote One Dime Down at Springfield Mitsubishi in Atlantic City. You first. Okay. Nope. Next, please.
It's a dime. It's a dime. Every vehicle, one dime down at Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City.
Dramatic, but true. Next.
Here's my dime. All new Outlanders with third row seating, one dime down.
If you bring home $350 a week, you could get up to $25,000 in credit. Next.
Don't go into the light, the gas light. New Mitsubishis get 43 miles per gallon.
Yeah, and acres of vehicles in stock now at the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City.
In Pleasantville.
Day service, all makes and models.
Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com.
Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com.
This dealership is clean.
New 22 Mirage, 16.4 dime down, $249 a month for 72 months at 3% APR plus tax title to qualified buyers.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Game Night being brought to you by friends over at Jenkins & Sons. One call does it all. That's what 97.3 ESPN did. Yes, so we needed our studio climate controlled. That's who we called. They put a system in our studio to keep us from being ridiculously hot or freezing cold, because there were times that was pretty uncomfortable in this studio. We don't have that problem anymore thanks to Jenkins & Sons. That's who we call. No need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, or the plumbing guy. Jenkins technicians are trained to do it all. For heating and air installation, service and maintenance, ductless air conditioning systems, water heaters, boilers, oil service, plumbing and drain cleaning services, call 609-641-6262. Visit them online at jenkinsandsons.com. A couple messages to get to before we get out of here. Of course, you can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle, where message comes in. All it says is RLC. So they left a name. Just RLC. Says parking in Wildwood is $20 when the parking lot opens, and it goes up when the day goes on. Yeah, I was talking about parking at if I caught a significant home run ball, what I would ask for free parking at Citizens Bank Park. To me, one of the greatest, exasperating things on earth is the fact that everywhere you go now, you have to deal with paying for parking. And it's like, what exactly are you paying for except for convenience? I don't want to name names, but I was in a parking garage in Lake City recently, and they literally made it so difficult to get out of the garage. I had to keep going down the wrong way to get to the right way to get out of the garage. And I'm just like, what are we paying for at this point? What am I paying for this parking situation? Is it really worth that much to not walk X distance if you're on one of the shore towns for these parking lots? I mean, it's just ridiculous. And the fact they're charging $45, $50, $60 or whatever it is to park at these baseball and these football and these basketball and hockey games, it's just highway robbery. It really is. Mike in Marmora says, but basically Dave was bringing up the bullpen games. It's having just 4 stars and rolling them out. It's not baseball anymore. It hasn't been for a long time. Please help me out and understand, what Dave's issue with it is, from Mike and Marmore. Well, Dave's issue is the idea that, pitchers used to be trained to be able to go the distance in a game. Okay. The idea is, when the Braves, let's just go back to the 90s. I don't go back that far. I mean, Dave used Bob Gibson as an example. I'll go back to the 90s. The Braves were known for having 3 elite starters, Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz. And the idea is that you could expect 6, 7, 8 innings out of those guys consistently, and you didn't have to worry about going to the bullpen. Now it's like some of these guys, because of pitch counts and because I don't think some of these guys are trained the same way they used to, that they can't go for more than 2 or 3 innings at a time. So it's frustrating. Jeff in Ocean City chimes in, says, can the Sixers make it 2 straight tonight? Jeff in Ocean City, I hope. I'm not promising anything. I mean, they're playing the Raptors. By the way, this Raptors schedule, they got 2 straight games with the Raptors. I mean, this whole playing the same team twice set thing is a little weird to me, but I digress. I hope they can win tonight. Because guess what? I'm tired of seeing teams lose when they should win. Now, the Raptors are a good team, so I'm not going to act like the Sixers should go out there and blow them out. But if you got Embiid and you got Harden and you got Maxey and you got Tobias Harris, you should be winning, 60% of your games at minimum. Sixers basketball tonight here on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 7:30. Tom McGinnis on the call. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night, everybody.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 7.
All right, before we get out of here, this is for the YouTube-only crowd. Thank you for watching and subscribing to Josh Hennig on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe. Appreciate you guys jumping on to watch the post-show just a little bit before I get out of here. I want to address one other thing we talked about a little bit earlier in the show. I don't think that we talk about enough as sports fans about the good stuff, about the good people. So I want to just take a moment to kind of have an appreciation moment for some professional athletes. Jason Kelce and Travis Kelce, the two brothers, the Eagles center and the Chiefs tight end, they're doing a great job with their podcast. And one of the things I like about their podcast is it's genuine and it's authentic. And these are two guys who do so much for their teammates, do so much in the community. I mean, Jason Kelce this year went down to Seattle City, of all places, and had a big fundraiser. He brought his brother. He brought Jordan Mailata. They raised a ton of money for charity. And these are guys, they don't look for attention. The good people don't expect, to be treated differently than anybody else. But the reality is we should. Because every time we talk about an athlete doing something bad or somebody committing a crime or something, what we're doing? We're spending less time highlighting the good guys in sports. And, like J.J. Watt, he just had a kid today. And I don't really care because I love J.J. Watt or I'm a Cardinals fan or a Texans fan or a University of Wisconsin fan. I care because the guy did more for hurricane relief in Houston than any politician, any celebrity did. He raised almost $40 million by himself for disaster relief and was going around Houston, bringing food to people, helping people deal with their lives after that hurricane struck the south coast of Texas years ago. And, I don't think that we take the time to appreciate the good guys enough. So, Jason Kelce, Travis Kelce, Jalen Hurts does a lot for charity that people don't talk about. A.J. Brown buying jerseys for random Eagle fans when he came to town back in July and August. J.J. Watt, all the charity work that he does. And there's so many more. I salute you guys today. And I hope that we all can agree that the good people deserve a little more light in the sun. And we need to spend a little less time glorifying the negative people out there. I'm Josh Hennig. Game nights on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, and live every day here on my YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, share if you enjoy the show. And I'll catch you next time right here. YouTube, FM radio, on the app, streaming online. Got you covered everywhere. Have a great everybody.